Dr. Richard, I hear you, but then at the end of the day, you're saying when it comes to this value-added chain, it's not the government that's going to be responsible for this. It's the young people, it's the Peters that will be responsible for this. So how is it that we can get young people to have a different change or shift of mindset on how they view farming, so we can be the leaders with this conversation?
Excellent. The reality is that the biggest constituency that Africa have got today
is our population.
It's the population, especially the youthful population that
Yes.
that is over 60%
Yes.
of the entire 1.2 billion people that we have as a continent. But they are the non-state actors. And what I would actually really like to put it in perspective here is that Africa have the policies. The role of government is to put the policies in place and create an enabling environment for non-state actors. And the biggest constituency of those non-state actors are the youth. Are the youth doing their bit? Yes. They are coming up with these apps, these technology applications. But at the end of the day, what they need, which is very, very important, is skills retooling. Because what we know is that a skilled human being is 4 times the value of produced wealth and 15 times the value of natural capital. That then means that the youth need to, whether you study physics or chemistry or biology, or you did journalism, or you are a climate change specialist like us here, it doesn't really matter. What is needed in value addition needs extra skills. So you can get some skills on how to be able to use a solar dryer. You can get some skills on how to add value to what is produced. For example, Dr. also mentioned here, cassava is an indigenous crop that is climate resilient, but it can produce up to about 300 products.
Those are the climate smart crops.
Absolutely. And it is a climate resilient crop and can grow anywhere across the entire continent. And up to about 500 million people in the continent eat cassava. That means that's a huge market.
Cassava. Give us other examples of the climate smart crops.
And you have sorghum, you have a millet that you mentioned. So the issue is not just the crops, is to tap into adding value so that you can be able to have products that can be marketable. And if you look at the importation of some of these food products in the continent, most of this is wheat. And if you take, for example, Nigeria came up with one of the most brilliant policies called the cassava bread policy, which indicates that every bread that is produced must have 20% of that bread being cassava.
Wow.
And that is creating a market. And now we're working with the Ministry of Environment, Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Energy to ensure that that cassava bread policy can actually now help incentivize farmers so they produce their cassava, they add value to it so that those who are producing bread can be able to buy. That can happen here. So the issue is not lack of policies, no lack of actions. It's how we can avoid silos and leverage in a complementarity way to be able to drive this forward.